Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham, one of the most powerful and prominent Republican lawmakers of the last 2 decades, passing away at the age of 71. Washington, D.C. EMS dispatched to Graham's home on Saturday night for a man in apparent cardiac arrest.
Intercept my 7 cardiac arrest.
At 2 in the morning Sunday, Graham's office putting out this statement saying the senator died from a brief and sudden illness, adding Senator Graham's family appreciates prayers at this time and asks for privacy during this incredibly difficult period. Graham had just returned to Washington from a trip to Ukraine, seen here meeting with President Volodymyr Zelensky on Friday.
South Carolina, an open seat. At the moment, it looks like the Republican is ahead.
The senior senator from South Carolina served more than 30 years in Congress, more than 20 of them in the upper chamber, becoming one of its most recognizable members, even mounting a failed bid for president in 2016.
No one here, including me, ever expected to hear me say, "I'm Lindsey Graham, and I'm running for president of the United States."
He went from political foe of President Trump's to one of his closest allies in the United States Senate, a persistent advocate for Ukraine in its defense against Russia. President Zelensky calling Graham a true defender of freedom, a staunch advocate for Ukraine, and a determined leader. In recent months, Graham also intensely backing President Trump's war in Iran.
We're comply with the law of war, but all hell's about to break loose on this regime.
Graham also instrumental in confirming Trump's Supreme Court nominees and mounting this fiery defense of Justice Brett Kavanaugh in 2018.
This is the most unethical sham since I've been in politics.
Graham spending more time with Trump than perhaps any other lawmaker, serving as a key advisor. The pair often seen golfing. Overnight, the president calling Graham one of the greatest people and senators I have ever known, and a true American patriot.
South Carolina's governor will now appoint an interim senator to fill.
Lindsey Graham was a racist piece of trash. But I also believe there was an inside job. I'm screaming foul play. America First and MAGA have divided into factions, and there's a war going on that we got to talk about. And I'm going to give y'all the whole demo on this devil by the name of Lindsey Graham, who is with his father, the devil, right now, you know, with Beelzebub, boiling in excrement right now. You know, we're going to talk about Lindsey Graham. We're going to talk about what's going on in the news, y'all.
Graham's seat until his term ends in January. Graham was running for re-election, so Republicans in South Carolina now have to hold a special primary to fill his spot on the ballot, Gio.
And Jay, this comes as there are continued questions now about the health of Senator Mitch McConnell.
That's exactly right, Gio. McConnell was checked into the hospital exactly 4 weeks ago today. His staff has still not said why. It's an unknown medical condition. His office.
Yeah, that's what's happening to all these suspected white supremacists. They all fallen from unknown illnesses. And listen, let's just put it out there. Lindsey Graham, he died not even 24 hours after meeting with President Zelensky. And he actually had a conference where he was screaming for peace between Russia and Ukraine. Now, let me just break this down, right? Trump, of course, he's aligned with Russia. We all remember Russian collusion, right? He's cool with the Russian president. He's cool with, of course, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu. And guess what? A lot of his constituents and peers who are on the other side of MAGA, or whatever you want to call it, America First, they don't like, they don't like none of that. They want America first. So what's happening right here is a great divide has taken place. And this divide is bringing some warfare. Now, y'all got to understand, Lindsey Graham, he is responsible for your Charlie Kirks. His whole theology and ideology, he's what produced Charlie Kirk. And you've seen what they did to Charlie Kirk. So Trump, he don't rock with Ukraine. He don't rock with Zelensky. He don't want peace between Russia and Ukraine. And I don't know, man. Lindsey Graham was talking like he was Trump's handler. Like, yeah, we just gonna chop it up with Trump. We gonna get this resolved and we gonna stop the war. Nah, you listen, when it comes to these violent, demonic Vikings, if you cross the line, they taking you out. Simple as that. You seen how they popped Charlie Kirk in his head. See, this is white on white degeneracy. This is how they get down. You want to talk about gangster? These are the gangsters right here. They popping anybody that get in the way. They can make it look like a heart attack. Look, mystery illness, whatever the hell you want to call it. Trump can be golfing with this man one day, and the next day you cross the line, you getting popped or you getting poisoned. Now, of course, some people online are speculating whether or not it could be Russian, some type of Russians that did it, or Ukrainians or whoever. But I personally believe this is an inside job. This is America.
Continues to say that McConnell is getting treatment and that he's working on Senate business. The governor of Kentucky is demanding answers about McConnell's condition. And if McConnell continues to stay out and with Graham gone, that creates a numbers problem for Senate Republicans. They go from 53 voting Senate Republicans to just 51, Gio.
Yeah.
And then we got this guy's Lindsey Graham's last meeting pretty much right before he passed away. And some of the things he had to say, you can see how it could have put a target on his back. He's trying to play peacekeeper and he ended up getting popped or taken out, allegedly taken out. And before we get into that, let me just break it down, like why I'm talking this way about Lindsey Graham, right? First of all, he began his role in Washington over damn 30 years ago. We talking about decades in the United States Senate. And here's the thing, his legacy leaves behind a lot of racism in America. Now, a lot of what I'm going to share with y'all, some of it is my opinion. However, the facts are the facts. One of the biggest reasons the racist perception followed this dude is because he had his unwavering defense of Donald Trump during some of the most racially charged controversies over the last decade. I mean, he was caping, he was glazing, and this happened time and time again. Graham stood beside Trump while critics accused Trump of making divisive statements regarding immigration, minorities, race in general. So he's been caping for white supremacy for a long time. You know what I'm saying? He's been caping for white supremacy. I don't have no remorse, no empathy, no compassion for Graham. He did a lot when it comes to legislation that inordinately affected Black Americans. Millions of people have acknowledged his racism because of how much Graham has rushed to Trump's defense. Even claimed that he had never heard Trump make a racist statement. For many Americans, particularly us in our communities, we know that to not be true. The controversy with Graham, it deepened publicly when he rejected the concept of systematic racism in America. That's the main Charlie Kirk talking point. This is the thing they want to tell you, that systematic racism don't exist. In order to hide systematic racism, they're able to continue under the cloak of maliciousness, oppress, suppress, lie, cheat, steal, kill, grape, whatever, everything these suspected white supremacists do. And that was one of the main talking points. Also, Lindsey Graham argued that the United Snakes is not a racist country and pointed to the election of Barack Obama and the rise of other minority political figures as evidence that racial barriers had largely been overcome. Now, we know that ain't true. And Barack Obama is not a foundational Black American, and nothing was done for us. Under the Obama administration, nothing changed. But they like to use Obama as a talking point. They like to use Obama as a talking point. Nope, it doesn't work. Obama only did something for LGBTQ plus. He did nothing specifically for Black Americans. For us to be somehow overcoming racism in this country. You know, also, you know, the harshest criticism of his career was during the nationally televised hearing. Graham referred the good old days of segregation. Yeah. He said the good old days of segregation. So, you know, when you think about sundown towns and you think about whites only, yes, Lindsey Graham actually said this on a nationally syndicated program, a phrase that immediately exploded across headlines and social media. And later on, Graham insisted that it was just sarcasm. But the phrase, it struck a nerve. It struck a nerve. Also, beyond those incidences, there was additional remarks and positions that fueled accusation, prejudice, and insensitivity. Graham faced criticism for comments invoking Iranians, Palestinians, immigration issues, border control, cultural debates. You know, he created Charlie Kirk. Lindsey Graham created he's like Charlie Kirk before Charlie Kirk was Charlie Kirk. And guess what? He went out just like Charlie Kirk. Because once the white supremacy structure is done using you, they're going to get rid of you. Yeah, I know. I see a couple of these MAGA folks. They're coming in. They're rolling in and out of the chat. I get it. Hey, listen, matter of fact, any actual racist name calling, we just going to do you a favor and get you up out of here. Y'all not going to come in here chimping out. That's what you're not going to do. You have to pull yourself together. You're not coming in here chimping out. And so, you know, now back to Lindsey Graham. Of course, he was trying to increase the peace over there in Ukraine. And I'm trying to find his last interview.
News gave bipartisan reaction, which is pouring in after the death of South Carolina Republican Senator Lindsey Graham. Lawmakers paying tribute and sharing memories, of working with the senator.
He and I were at the same event. And someone said to me, how can you stand Lindsey Graham? And I said, well, I love him like a brother, which means when I fight with him, I want to kill him. And they're awful and ugly fights. And yet when we work together and when I see the good that he wants to do for our country, I'm able to forgive him and find the positives in him. But I also saw him in his best moments, fighting fiercely for the underdog in America.
I want y'all to understand that white degeneracy is alive and well, and they're consuming each other. You know, MAGA took out Charlie Kirk and MAGA took out Lindsey Graham too, allegedly. And I'm going to tell y'all, politically, they could position themselves like they all are for white supremacy. You know, they politicize this thing, but they having an internal war. MAGA is separated. It's divided. And really, they be having drag out death matches, so to speak. And that's what's going on in the country. It's divided. Like MAGA is split, and it's a lot of reasons why. You got to understand that you got one side that's more isolationist. You know, they want America first. And then you got the other side, their view on foreign policy and foreign issues is just totally different. And it's all about white supremacy. However, white supremacy is evil. And so it's going to consume itself. It's going to destroy itself. The Bible says a house divided cannot stand. Right?
Let's bring in MS Now reporter Nnamdi Egwuonwu, who's joining us from Columbia, South Carolina. Nnamdi, welcome. What are you hearing from residents there? How are they remembering the senator?
Well, you know, Alex, right now the preeminent emotion I'm hearing is shock. You have to imagine people are still waking up to this news. They're still becoming aware of the fact that their senator has passed away. And look, when we talk to people after they get through the surprise, there's an acknowledgement of the fact that, love him or hate him, Lindsey Graham was deeply influential here in this state and in Republican politics broadly. You know, he was a senator for 4 terms. Before that, he represented Congress, representing this state for the better part of a decade. And before that, was involved with state politics here. So there are people here that at the minimum will acknowledge that he had influence, that he was very quick to wheel. But I want to play you a snapshot of the conversations MS has been able to have with some residents across the state. Take a listen.
It was shock. That's unbelievable. One day you see someone and the next day it's just hard to believe that that could happen overnight. It can happen to anyone, but it was just shock.
I mean, they always got to put some graham crackers on public television to make us feel some type of sympathy. That man is in hell right now. Lindsey Graham, he is dancing with the devil. You understand me? Like, listen, and you know what? Good riddance. May he rest in peace. We don't care about no Lindsey Graham. See, this is what we got to stop doing as people. We got to stop doing this. We got to be able to really rejoice when these devils get taken out, because listen, when it comes to redlining, when it comes to the prison pipeline, when it comes to any levels of oppression towards our people, Lindsey Graham had his hands all in it. He said he missed the good old days. You know, the days like Jim Crow. The days where he can wear where he can put on his Klan mask and do what he do behind the scenes. And we want to sit up here and, you know, it's so sad. No, we don't care. Look, the race war is going to pop off anyway. These people want a race war, the race war coming. We're not worried about it. And we know we don't have no sympathy for these people. They're not going to get our energy anymore. He was what we would describe as an enemy of our people. You know, it's an accumulation to why we came up with our sentiments on Lindsey Graham. We talking about years of comments, years of defenses, dismissals, political choices that created public image that all of us found troubling. I don't know. I mean, anytime you view these people as a patriot, 9 times out of 10, they was white supremacists. He had repeated racial statements that was just out of pocket. No, we not mourning him, just like we didn't mourn Charlie Kirk. We're not mourning Lindsey Graham. And I believe MAGA took him out. They just didn't pop him on TV like they did Charlie. And I'm not the only one who believes this either. Oh, the white supremacists, they believe it too. And if not the white supremacists, those who split off from MAGA, they believe it as well. Matter of fact, let's go to X real quick. Let me show y'all something what's going on right now. Because first and foremost, to know what's happening in the country, you got to know the details. The details are important. First and foremost, you got to know that MAGA is divided. That this America First thing, and you know, they don't want us all in a business like this, but we out here exploiting white degeneracy. We see what the hell y'all got going on. Y'all can't get along. Y'all out here losing y'all damn rabbit ass mind, taking out y'all's patriots and all of that. Let me see if I can full screen.
I pick America First over MAGA.
See, there's a difference here.
Right? No qualifiers. That's it.
One moment, let's get to it.
That said, with America First, I'm not going to do with America First what all the new MAGA candidates like Laura Loomer are doing with MAGA and Trump, glazing him no matter what, speaking in his ear, using flattery. Oh, you're so great. You've never done anything wrong. You could do no wrong. I'm not going to do that over here. So I have a team. I'm not sitting there doing the splits in the middle, above it all. America first. I'm with Tucker Carlson over Donald Trump. Period. I am. That said, Tucker, because that's the team I picked, that's the team that I'm going as a friend-enemy distinction. I'm not going to do it as I would when I critique the left. I critique them as enemies because they are. They are enemies of America, enemies of Christ, enemies of my wife and children and future posterity. I'm not going to level that kind of rhetoric that I would level against the left, against Tucker Carlson, because he's a friend. We're on the same team. That said, I'm also not going to be, as Laura Loomer is to Trump, I'm not going to be to an Alex Jones or a Tucker Carlson. I'm going to say, Tucker, you're nailing it. So glad to see this. Also,
and mind you, ladies and gentlemen, they're all white supremacists or alleged white supremacists. They're all on the wrong side of history. Listen, and both sides believe that they're somehow ushering in a Christian nation. This is no Christian nation. Christian nation, we never had a Christian nation in America. They came over here, raped, pillaged, and destroyed the indigenous people, separated them, divided them, enslaved them, and now they want to act like they're the moral authority. Jesus Christ is black. And these people are basically going to war on who runs the Negro kingdom. Meanwhile, it's so much racism and idiocy with these people. They're consuming and destroying each other. Absolute power corrupts.
Islam is not our friend. They're not our friend. They worship a false god, and Islam, not just religiously, is it a false religion that damns people to hell, but also philosophically, in terms of
they worship a false god too. White Jesus is a false god. They keep serving this pearly white man as Jesus, and Jesus Christ is black, skin of bronze and hair of wool. Now, it's more of these guys. It's more of these guys who are talking about this divide between MAGA and American First.
Debates form. Individuals on the right might say something like, we need to now focus on stopping the flow of money to foreign countries, Israel in particular, which is a big issue for Candace and Tucker, of course. But then there are individuals on the right who are very, very adamant that we continue to fund Israel. And thus, the rift begins. You now have anti-Zionist, pro-Zionist, anti-Semitic as a portion as well. America First, international globalist, John McCain-style neocon. All of these rifts start to emerge because we are not focused on a singular enemy. As the Democrats have largely been routed, Republicans won every facet. And here we sit asking ourselves, what is the next big move? The moderate conservative types, more likely neoconservative, are in favor of Trump's H-1Bs. The America First anti-interventionists, a part of this coalition, are very much opposed to H-1Bs. Mm-hmm. Libertarians are taking issue with Trump's stance on Israel, as well as foreign funding, and thus the cracks begin. So I don't take it personally. I think this is just what happens. Behind the scenes, I feel that there is an effort to resist this change, and I can respect it. We don't want the movement to break because there is a power in unity that will allow us to win, and we have to win the midterms. Democrats haven't just ceased to exist. So there are many individuals who have spoken with me and said, Tim, please just say nothing and keep doing your thing. There have been individuals who said, we will intervene on your behalf and make them invite you.
So what's happening right now is you got the interventionists who are going against the isolationists. That's what's happening right now with MAGA, America First. That's the divide right there. And the way they view foreign policy is totally different. And they don't want peace. The core of MAGA don't want peace. They want destruction. And for whatever reason, I feel like either, and this is just my opinion, that they're purposely tearing America apart, or they're just so damn destructive that they can't help it. Everything they touch just goes to the dumps. Right? Now, I'm showing you a pattern here that this is what's going on.
happen in November, because there's been this sort of like false sense of security a lot of people are lulling themselves into when they look at the primaries and saying, oh, these primary results are proof that MAGA is as strong as it ever was because all of President Trump's endorsements are winning their primaries. I don't think that that's a legitimate indicator. I think what the legitimate indicator is going to be is who comes out in November and how they vote. And I think a lot of people are going to be really shocked when that happens.
I 100% agree with you.
Real time, uncensored, unstoppable.
Between what will be America.
Now let's hear Alex Jones.
I don't see that changing, and I think that there's going to be a huge splintering after the midterms between what will be America First and what will remain of MAGA.
And that was my next question. A lot of people are talking about a third party, but the way our system's set up, that's so hard to do, and that tends to get the Democrats.
I mean, these people are thugs, man. This is some gang banging on wax stuff. You hear what he said? What is going to be left of MAGA versus, America First? Listen, this remind you of gangs in New York or something. Like, this is what these people do. And when they go to war, people die, bro. Their own be dying.
Party, but the way our system's set up, that's so hard to do, and that tends to get the Democrats in. So it's kind of like cut your nose off to spite your face. But at the same time, we've got to punish neocon and rhino Republicans because our beachhead, has gotten to be a majority, but it's still not enough because the Democrats can join with the neocons to outvote us. But if you look at this, notice, we don't have any influence. Alex Jones, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes, you get listed in there, along with a lot of others. And that's a diverse group of people with different ideas. But in general, we're being betrayed. We don't want Israel first. We want America first. But then the Mark Levins, everybody say, you don't have any power. No one listens to you. Even though our audiences are way bigger than theirs. And then they turn around and say, well, if we lose the midterms, it's your fault. No, these are all never Trumpers that are in there knowingly destroying their own audiences. It's so unpopular. I mean, I'd say 80% of MAGA isn't liking this. I'd say half of those hold their nose. But I mean, still, this is devastating. We have the internal polls out of the White House. I've talked to them. They know, and they're still going down this thing. So when the Democrats win the House and Senate and come after Trump and his family and everybody, they've already got investigations over billion-dollar deals for tungsten in Tajikistan with his son signed up for it with Ludnig's kids the day after.
It's a lot of chaos going on. MAGA's cooked. America First is cooked. America is cooked. Babylon is falling. And it's evident. And, these white supremacists going to keep dropping dead of mysterious diseases and illnesses because, y'all being judged by God because y'all want to fake Christianity. Y'all want to come up with your own version of Christianity. Y'all want to position yourself as the moral authority when the country that you're living in is destroyed because of you. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and say the whole world is destroyed because of you. And now that's why y'all arguing is all messy because y'all don't belong in leadership any damn way. You just don't. Now, I want y'all to hear what Nick Fuentes and Candace Owens are saying about this too. I want y'all to listen. I've tried to catch y'all up to speed to this stuff because we got to be paying attention to what's going on because knowing is power. Knowing is power. So I want to go to Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes and what they have to say about this divide, as well as Tucker Carlson too, because he's been putting a lot of stuff out there that we should pay attention to. Wait. Okay, my bad. I have to share another screen to get that.
2025 is the year that MAGA died. This is now the dichotomy. You have MAGA on the one side, and what does this even stand for anymore? You got MAGA on one side. What does that even mean? Make America great for who? Make it great for Israel, Indian immigrants, Chinese students, illegal immigrant farm workers. Make America great again for them. Make Israel great. Make America great for the global empire, defense contractors, big pharma, Wall Street, Silicon Valley, Palantir. You got MAGA on the one side, and like I said, Randy Fine, Lindsey Graham, Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz. And then on the other side, you got America First. No ambiguity, no ifs, ands, or buts. What does that mean? America first. Americans first. America only. America first is our credo. Americanism, not globalism, is the credo. Tucker, Fuentes, Candace, Marjorie, Thomas Massey, Dan Bilzerian, Myron, Jake Shields, Lucas Gage, all the greats, all the usual suspects. Next question. Aiden Ross, Stico. Yay! This is the dichotomy. What are you for? Are you with America First or are you with MAGA?
And see, this was the beginning of this split when it started. And people are actually losing their lives behind it. Honestly, this is what took Charlie Kirk out. These people are at war. And Liberty Bella says, war in Iran while Muslims take over America, masses and masses of them. Listen, we don't got to worry about nobody taking over America. White supremacy is destroying America. With these silly little gangs y'all got. These silly gangs y'all got. And really all of them just a bunch of weirdos and freaks proposing themselves to be conservative. Ain't nothing conservative about these undercover homosexuals. Ain't nothing conservative about any of them. Ain't nothing conservative about the Epstein class. Ain't nothing conservative about these weirdos that be partying on these islands. Nothing conservative about none of them, especially this bozo right here on your screen, Nick Fuentes. Ain't nothing conservative about him. Just a flailing soy boy freak. That's just what it is. And these are your leaders? Nah. Let me see. There's been a great divide. And somebody asked me, what has the divide been about? Well, it's mostly regarding foreign policy. It's a power struggle. Yeah, it's a power struggle among degenerates. Everything they touch will be destroyed. Let me see here. I'm going to pull this up for y'all. All right. One moment. And everybody get the likes up. If you're watching on the vertical stream, double tap the screen. If you're watching it on horizontal, go ahead and click the like button. Yeah, man, it's a damn shame, really, that these people have taken America down this rabbit hole that we're in right now. Hold on real quick, man. Let's see. And this great divide been going on for some time. And they don't like us in their business like this. They don't like us to know what they got going on. Hold on, where's the Candace Owens video I'm looking for? Man, I don't even think they pulled the video up. Anyway, y'all get the point. The point is it's a divide. And I wanted to show y'all that. And this is the reason why. This is the reason why old boy got taken out, allegedly. One moment. Yeah, this thing didn't pull up what I thought it did. Okay, whatever. Show must go on. The show must go on. And I want to pivot. I want to pivot as well. I want to talk a little bit about some updates in the Nolan Wells case as well. I'm definitely want to pivot on that, but I had to hip y'all to what's going on here. Because everybody's talking about the death of Lindsey Graham. Look, Lindsey Graham, he was part of the problem. Lindsey Graham was part of the problem. He got his issue. We're not mourning him. We really don't too much care. But I wanted to hip y'all to what's going on, right? Now, America got a lot of explaining to do right now. America's under fire at the moment, a lot of racial tension. And we got to discuss some of these things, man. You know, I've been on the case since Nolan Wells mysteriously passed away. And we're going to talk about this. But before we do, I got to give MAGA one last shot so they can understand why this country is where they at. I got to give MAGA a kill shot so they can understand why things are the way they are. And who they are versus who they, portray to be. I want you to hear this pastor and what he had to say. White pastor at that. Listen.
I love it when real pastors are not afraid to speak the truth about America, especially coming out of a white pastor's mouth. This is what's needed.
There has never been a Christian nation. You don't live in one now, and never will be. A Christian nation would never have killed and displaced 20 million Native Americans who are still left out and living in poverty. A Christian nation would never have thought that owning slaves was pleasing to God, or that it lined up with Scripture in any way, shape, or size. And we not only practiced it, but we were so obsessed with it that we went to war about it. We had a civil war. And in that civil war, 500,000 Americans died. That's more than Americans that died in World War II or any other war we've ever had. Our own civil war. We killed 500,000 of our own people so people could have the right to own other people as property.
I love it when real pastors are not afraid to speak the truth about America, especially coming out of a white pastor's.
Now, that's the history of America. That's Babylon for you. That's the wickedness of America. America was founded on masonry, secrecy, racism. And now they want to act like the moral authority. And I'm going to tell you, from what we're seeing with this America First versus MAGA, we're seeing the same thing transpire all over again. A civil war. That's what we're seeing right now, a civil war. And I'm gonna show y'all something. We're going to get back to this. I'm going to hip y'all to what's going on. This is how I know we're on the brink of a civil war. I'm going to share something with y'all. How many of y'all remember those racist white supremacists on July 4th marching in D.C.? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I got their website right here. Now, this is the Reclaim America Patriot Front website. These are the people who was marching with masks on. Now, I want to just go over this website a little bit. Hopefully, y'all got a good view at this, because you don't know who these people are, but we did see a bunch of guys in cowboy hats that was posted dressed the same with Trump as well. Now, what's their mission statement? Life, recognition. America will fully recognize themselves as a people, not merely citizens or residents of a country, but a people bearing a unique national interest rooted in our heritage on this continent. Our people, born to this nation of our European race, must reforge themselves as a new collective capable of asserting our right to cultural independence. The life of this nation, unique among all others, will be defended. Look, these people are already in a war. They talking like they getting sprayed with water hose and getting dogs sicked on them. They're talking about asserting authority. They're talking about reclaiming America because they're going to have to reclaim it because they claimed it the first time they landed on Plymouth Rock, raped everybody, and gave smallpox blankets. This is your history. This is the history of your people. MAGA, I know y'all slipping in and out of the chat, but no, you came for a history lesson. And this is what you are doing right now. As if y'all being oppressed. Still looking for a sense of belonging when you done stole everything. Look at this, liberty, revolution. The revival of the American Revolution spirit will guide the people towards this inalienable right to self-determination on the course to fulfill their destiny. America will be unshackled from tyrannical rule. Now, what are they talking about, tyrannical rule? Who's ruling them? They're talking about MAGA. That's who they're talking about. The corrupt and ineffective state which subverts the national interest to favor a global plutocracy and no longer legitimate to govern and must face alteration or abolition. An unwavering resistance will meet an enemy of the people and the nation, both foreign and domestic. They're planning the next civil war. They're planning the next civil war. These are domestic terrorists. These are the people who are going to usher in a race war. You don't see our people doing this. You don't see us fueling division like this. You don't see us plotting and gathering together 400 strong, marching and doing all of that. We're not doing all of that. And now we got all these actual lynchings still happening. I'm going to play this video so we can see what these animals are talking about.
Patriot Front is a fraternal, nationalist, activist organization dedicated to upholding the traditions, defending the people, and transforming the ambitious array of efforts. The organization believes in the
Now hold on, ain't these the same guys that were standing behind Trump with the hats on? So what I want y'all to understand is, yes, the divide is real, but they're playing political games with you. It's all done in the name of white supremacy, although it is an internal battle going on. But these are the same people that were standing behind Trump. The same people.
of the country. Patriot Front is active, nationwide, and committed to an ambitious array of efforts. The organization believes in the ethnic interest of Americans as those descendant from the original European settlers of this land. The representative
the original European settlers. They can't call themselves colonizers. Just call yourself what you are. You're not a settler, you're a colonizer. Who is their enemy? Why were they surrounding black people on the trains? Had them nervous. Watch this.
Organization dedicated to upholding the traditions, defending the people, and transforming from the original European settlers of this land. The representative and traditional models of government found in our past as a republic, and the vital need for the men of the nation to take an active role in organizing patriotic politics beyond the electoral process. The time in which our nation's challenges could be conquered by voting alone has long since passed, if there ever was such a time at all. It has become necessary to reinvigorate the lifestyle of our nation's men with the virtues that made us a nation, that led our ancestors to conquer a continent. The decline of America may be slowed by the actions of politicians, but to truly turn the tides of history.
He just admitted it. He said that led our ancestors to conquer a continent. So they coming in that same vein, that same spirit of conquering something. Listen. America's cooked. Y'all gonna go to hell trying to conquer this country. It's already done. See, they're admitting that they conquered the land. They're proud of it. These are warmongers. This is terrorism. I don't care how you slice it.
We must do more. We must live in such a way that makes our subjugation impossible and our independence inevitable.
Now imagine if a black organization did something like this, bro. You have the FBI, CIA. Listen, all operations would be completely disrupted and destroyed. But these people, since they wore masks and they like, look, you don't know who we are. These very same, they look like the same people that were standing with Trump. But there's no recourse for this type of stuff. They're threatening a revolution. They're threatening a revolution by any means necessary, right? And nobody's stopping it.
Our activism champions free speech by turning the public space into the public forum it ought to be. We persist beyond the censorship of conservative and liberal institutions alike by taking our ideas into the streets and plazas of America and meeting with our countrymen directly. Our efforts are—
I believe this is the feds too. I believe these are the feds, no doubt about that. They're allowing this for a reason. These are agent provocateurs.
seen
And see, this is why you got Trump bringing the UFC to the White House. You know, they on some real gladiator. They listen, they've been watching Chuck Norris films all damn year. They on some real gladiator blood sport type of stuff right now. You know, listen, America, they got the good old boy in office, the Proud Boys in office, and they on some real white pride type stuff. That's what's happening right now in the country. And we're going to talk about how this racism spilled over to a lot of situations we seen on July 4th. Yeah, they out here training like Rocky, still going to get knocked all the way out. Still going to get knocked all the way out by unforeseen forces.
Must restore the masculine character and martial culture of America to reassert our independence. We reconnect with our national heritage through the study of historical American literature and improve the skill sets of our constituent members with a wide range of workshops.
Somebody said they doing all that training, but the sun's still whooping their ass. Up there in Europe, the sun is killing them right now. They dropping by the thousands. They can't even handle the summertime. They are here training to fight and go to war. The sun is whooping y'all asses. Y'all gonna end up just like Hulk Hogan and Charlie Kirk.
We seek to act as a good government should, to venerate the triumphs of America's history, alongside a steadfast service to the prosperity of the latest generation of our people. The task of reclaiming our sovereignty will itself be a test to determine if we are worthy of it. We are calling the men of our nation to its cause. He who bears a patriotic spirit and nationalist principles will find a home in Patriot Front.
Yo, it's like they get all this funding and they still not really, they still really don't got no motion because we just not worried about them enough. We're not worried about them enough. Now, I could tell you this right now, yo, we got some updates. We got some updates on the Nolan Wells situation. Man, there's this one video that I want to share with y'all. And I'm going to tell you, these devils, they out here admitting what type of time they on. I mean, they admitting it. They coming out. Let me see if I got. Yo, let me share this with y'all. And make sure y'all double tap the screen, get the likes up. Yeah, we're not worried at all. And congratulations to Gladiator, too. I believe you got a wrench now, Gladiator. Shout out to Gladiator because he got his wrench. Yep. Let me see here. There's one particular video I want to share with y'all of this white supremacist running his mouth about the Nolan Wells situation. And he has some very revealing things to say. I know I had that video in here. Matter of fact, let me send it to myself now. We're going to get that because quite a few people sent me this. And I think the video is going viral. Yep, it's right here. Let me just forward that to myself. And then for anybody who's not hip, if you've been sleeping under a rock, Nolan Wells mysteriously died 4th of July. Star athlete. He was the only melanated person at Horn Island. And there's been some new developments with his death. There's been a lot of lies. There's been a lot of secrecy. And the country has been wondering. The country has been torn. And I just want to get y'all abreast of some of the updates. But before we do that, I want you to hear how these devils think. Let's go.
Yep, you got that right. Yeah, we did it. We sure did do it. What you think? What you think we do when we take y'all young men camping with us? You know them boys don't know how to swim. Yeah. You throw them in that water. We say, swim, boy, swim. Woo! Learn how to swim, boy. You can't do it.
I'm not trying to get hit with copyright. I thought it was a version of this with no music. I ain't trying to get hit with no copyright. Hold on. I think it is a version with no music. No, it's not. Well, if we have to remove it at the end, we'll just remove it because y'all got to hear this damn devil right here. Y'all got to hear this devil.
Yep, you got that right. Yeah, we did it. We sure did do it. What you think? What you think we do when we take y'all young men camping with us? You know them boys don't know how to swim. Yeah. We throw them in that water. We say, swim, boy, swim. Woo! Learn how to swim, boy. You can't do it. You can't do it, boy. Y'all ain't ever gonna learn how to swim. Yeah. Yeah, they did it. Them boys did it. This is a damn tradition for us. Yeah. This is a tradition. We take you boys out in the woods. And we throw you in the swamp. We throw you in the creek. We throw you in the springs and rivers. Yeah, we throw you in them oceans. Y'all can't do a damn thing. Y'all be in there splashing and screaming, I can't swim, I can't swim. Oh, hell no. But you know, it ain't our fault. It ain't our fault you're fucking stupid. Grown man don't know how to swim. Yeah, what y'all think we do? You know, yeah, it's a big conspiracy. You know, every 6 months this skin tone, we all get together in our neighborhoods and we have like a little neighborhood meeting. And y'all ain't invited. We get together, we make plans, we talk about y'all, talk about, yeah, let's put this one in football, you know, let's put this one in basketball, yeah, let's encourage him to do that and this, yeah. We bet on y'all. Man, we just play y'all like a damn game and y'all don't even know it. This is a tradition. Been going on since the beginning of time. And y'all still in the dark. And you know, I thought I'd go ahead and tell you, but even me telling you, it's still just gonna be conspiracy and nobody's gonna be able to prove it. Yeah. This happens all around the nation. All of us are involved. Every single one of us. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Hey, listen. Somebody said that this is a rage bait video. Listen, listen, let me tell you something. Even if it's a joke, the truth is hidden in jokes. This ain't no joke. Because what he just said really happens. Like when he said, look, the whole neighborhood will be having meetings about you. How else do you think people like Tamala Holsford ended up missing or died mysteriously at a sleepover with all white people? He's not making this up. There's too many incidences and circumstances where we see this stuff. They really be having meetings that we not invited to. That's why it's best you stay in your own communities. They really be plotting, you know? And of course, he's a provoking spirit. Of course, he's trying to fuel more racial tension. You know, my goal is not to rage bait. That's not what my material is about. My material is about pointing out what's being done so we can prepare for what's coming. Because the reality of the situation is we're going to have a race war in America. Actually, I would go as far as to say we're already in a race war in America. We are in the middle of a race war. So, yeah, although this Chud the Builder looking, Buzz Lightyear looking dweeb may be joking or rage baiting, what he's saying is essentially true. It's essentially true. Make no mistake about that. Now, there's been some updates, y'all, in this Nolan Wells situation. And, man, the updates are just coming in quickly. Wow, wow, wow. Some of the things that we are learning now. And that it should be a matter of time before some arrests are issued.
Well, well, well. What do we have here? How y'all gonna explain this one? How are you racist gonna explain this one? You still waiting for more facts? Should we wait for more facts? Should we wait for more first-hand accounts before we apply justice? Well, well, well. What do we have here? How y'all gonna explain?
So let me get to more context of what you just seen, right? So apparently Nolan was spotted in a pool party. Matter of fact, let's just let the sister break it down right here.
Are you guys hearing these latest updates coming out about Nolan Wells? So allegedly Nolan did leave the island and he went back to Wyatt's house for a pool party. And during that pool party, there was an altercation between Wyatt, Nolan, Evan, and somebody else. And apparently they beat Nolan to death with some sort of bar or pole. There are people that are putting out witness statements stating that they were there and they saw Nolan spitting up blood and that these boys urinated on Nolan. They are saying that Evan's mother knew about the whole thing. And allegedly, they took Nolan's body back to the water. They're saying that this is the reason why it pinged on land at that house before they found that phone. This is why that boy told his daddy that Nolan was like a brother to me. Was like a brother to me when he showed up to get his car. It's because they already knew he was gone. Is this the reason why they needed dental records? Because he was unrecognizable? This case is starting to bust wide open. And we all knew that something else happened to Nolan. Now the question is, which of the parents helped those kids? Are you guys hearing these latest updates coming out about Nolan Wells? So allegedly, Nolan did leave the island. And he went back to Wyatt's house for...
Now, let's say allegedly, right? With all that's been said, let's say that this photo right here was retrieved from the phone that the mother had to use Life 360 to find. We know that the stepfather had to force them to give his son keys back. It would make sense that Nolan actually was back on that boat and made it back. And if that be the case, we're going to say allegedly, that means Ocean View, Mississippi police, that means they would have to be lying about everything. That means it would be a cover-up where they lied about finding the body on the island. Could it be that the reason why they kept that phone is to find out how to delete the evidence? Ladies and gentlemen, it makes total sense. And from what they're saying, there's some snitches. There's some people who talking like they're saying that they beat that man, Ocean Springs. Yeah, that's where it's at. They saying that they beat Nolan with pipes, beat him to death, and urinated on him. Now, if this comes out to be true, Mississippi gonna be turned up, man. But this actually makes sense. This actually makes sense. Now, this is one of the most, if this is what happened, we won't know until the autopsy, the second autopsy report is done. The body is getting flown out to DC. If that young man appears to be beat to death, that's it. That's it. We need to start seeing some arrests made. But listen, this is going to implicate the police. This is going to implicate the whole town. And I want you to look at that photo. Let me see if we can get it where you can see it. Listen, there is several. I mean, there's several of these people there. Several. Imagine if they really got him back on that boat, went home and did Nolan like that, and that many people was complicit. Everybody in that photo should be arrested. There's older people. Maybe I could give y'all a bigger view. And, we're going to say allegedly because I don't know how old this picture is. I don't know, but I've heard this from multiple sources that this photo was recently, within the last couple hours, retrieved from the phone, showing that Nolan made it back. Now, I'm going to be honest. I never seen this photo beforehand. Do I believe that this is what happened? This theory could very well make the most sense. Yeah, he was the only black spot there. There were older men, older women, younger men. It was like the whole damn town, y'all. And I'm gonna tell you, all these people got to do is call the police chief, call their connections, and they can make this stuff covered up. They can cover this stuff up. Yeah, somebody said it's gonna be Mississippi burning again if it's true. For real. For real. I'm telling you. And because this stuff is going on all over the country, especially on 4th of July.
We have another black child who died on the 4th of July after hanging out with a group of white teammates. Dion Walton drowned in water with his teammates in Alabama. Now, this is just coming out and I'm getting ready to start my live, so I don't have a lot of time to do a full deep dive on the conversation, but I wanted to say these are not a coincidence. And we need to figure out what is going on exactly. Because if you ask me, things like this are starting to feel like they're on purpose. Now, I don't know all the details, but I'm definitely going to dig into them when I come back from my live. If you want to join in on the conversation, come join us. We have another black child who died on the 4th of July after hanging out with a group of white teammates. Dion Walton drowned.
Listen, there was some initiation rituals going on July 4th. You had those racist New Age Klansmen marching. You had a couple lynchings going on. All of this is happening for a reason. These people are conducting rituals. They're conducting rituals. And oh man, y'all, Ashley Cole, the stepmother of one of the boys that was at the island, one of the boys that was so-called a friend of Nolan, she put out a second statement, y'all. We gotta go in on this broad. We gotta go in on her, bro. Oh, she about to get this work. She put out another statement, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm at an awe with the statement that this devil put out. She put out another statement. She couldn't keep her mouth closed. Listen, they over there, they're panicking. They know the walls are closing in on them. They know that Ben Crump and Al Sharpton getting involved is putting the heat on them. It's putting the heat on them. The national attention is putting the heat on them. Now I want you to hear her statement, y'all. This is insane.
So Judge Ashley Cole has made a second statement on Facebook. Now, Ashley Cole is the stepmama of one of them boys on the boat. I think Warren Hudson is his name. They see. They're watching. They know Nolan's parents are not playing. We have decided that we will not be speaking to the press at this time. The media is not the appropriate forum to further elaborate on the facts of July 4th, 2026. We realize that the truth will not stop the calls for the death of our small children.
Now, this witch, this victim playing, shift blaming, demonic witch. That judge need to be debarred, taken out. Look, let me explain this to y'all. Let me show you the evil of these people, how they play victim. Nolan Wells just died mysteriously. They go home, meaning their children go home, get lawyered up, hide evidence, and this witch posted whatever happened, it can result in the death of her small children. Here it is. It's somebody's child really died. And she's trying to levy her children in a damn cover-up. Trying to make the public believe that somehow a bunch of angry black folks, because of all the racial tension, is going to come after her small children. This is disgusting. This is disgusting for her to post something like that. She didn't, what proof of death threats do she have? Because guess what? They deleted social media before we even knew Nolan was missing. They deleted social media before we knew Nolan was even missing, y'all. And you got this witch talking about my small children, it could result in the death of her small. Nobody's coming after her children. But see, this is what they do. They play victim. They project. They like, no, we got to garner sympathy. Just the nerve, the entitlement here. This makes my blood boil right here. The entitlement, the nerve for her to say something like that. Man, that is crazy, y'all. That is crazy. Hear this again, y'all. This is what she
So
posted.
Judge Ashley Cole has made a second statement on Facebook. Now, Ashley Cole is the stepmama of one of them boys on the boat. I think Warren Hudson is his name. They see. They're watching. They know Nolan's parents are not playing. We have decided that we will not be speaking to the press at this time. The media is not the appropriate forum to further elaborate on the facts of July 4th, 2026. We realize that the truth will not stop the calls for the death of our small children. We have not had.
We realize that the truth will not stop the calls for the death of our small children. This witch is saying, regardless of what happened, you animals are going to come after our small children. First of all, ain't nobody worried about her small children. But let me just show you the level of racism here, the disrespect here. In that verbiage alone just exuberates with racism. You animals are not smart enough to differentiate right and wrong. And regardless of which true, in our opinion, regardless of what's our truth, what took place, that's not going to stop you animals for trying to kill my small children. They are guilty. They are guilty. And honestly, yo, I don't know why arrests haven't been made yet. When the video came out showing that they took Nolan's phone and he wanted his phone back, and the father and mother had to, go get the keys, and they were lying about that, and they were hiding Nolan's phone, that was enough to issue a warrant. What the hell is going on in Mississippi? That should have been a warrant issued. Listen, there should have been a whole lot of people brought into questioning. Charges should have been levied immediately. I don't know what the hell is going on. I actually looked at an interview with a prior judge, a former judge in Mississippi, and he was talking about, look, he don't know why warrants wasn't issued. These people are guilty, man. They killed Nolan. They murdered that man. And I believe it was over a woman. I believe it was over a woman. I really do. Because that type of hate, that type of visceral is typically over a female. One of the friends was probably jealous. Nolan was doing his thing, 4th of July. He was out there on the beach, romantic setting. The girl was feeling him. He was feeling her. And for whatever reason, one of those guys was probably secretly in love. Nolan probably didn't even know. And the friend was like, yo, he gotta go. He gotta go. And they all said, you know what? You're right. Nolan think he better than us. They always saying he a good kid. Everything he do, he's good at it. And them devils said, look, this is his last night on earth. We're gonna get him out of there. Yo, but what if we get caught? How we gonna get caught? My mom's a effing judge, dude. They're cool with the police chief, dude. They're plugged in with the mayor. Like, this dude gotta go. That's how it happened. Dude, man, my family's lawyers, dude. Man, let me tell you. This is what happened, allegedly.
Had the opportunity to speak to the Wells Wansley family or their attorney. However, we are willing to directly communicate with attorney Ben Crump and the Wells Wansley family. We will provide them with all the proper information known to us so their family can rest and properly mourn. We also want to know what happened to Nolan. We will do everything within our power to assist Nolan's family in their quest for answers. If you go to Facebook and you search her name, you can see the original post. And attached to it, she has some screenshots of her inbox and some video messages that are very disturbing. Go take a look.
So apparently she got some video messages. They were probably made up because she pretty much, they deleted social media before we even knew what the hell was going on. So apparently she got some type of threats. She showed some type of screenshot, some type of video on Facebook. Listen, let's say hypothetically, she fears for her life or the life of her children. Why even make that second statement? Why even put that out there? Because you've already deleted social media. Why would you keep propping the idea of your children being eliminated while you still have grieving parents who are seeking answers? Your children are alive. In fact, your entire family is insulated with law enforcement and lawyers. Playing victim in a moment like that makes no sense. Yeah, deleting social media off the rip is crazy. And then just come back after you delete social media, come back and be putting out more statements. Like, what are you doing? You already deleted social media. No, y'all are nervous. And I'm going to tell you, I believe they got Nolan over a female. And that's why, oh, Nolan was last seen with a girl. See, that was the lie. That was the projection right there because it's over a girl. Oh, no, Nolan left with some girl. No, it's about some girl. It's about some girl. Telling you.
Do you think race might be a factor?
Like my wife said, I don't want to believe that, but it's just so many things have happened, and so many things have been swept under the rug. Like I said, Nolan didn't see color. He saw people for who they are, and I used to always tell him, so you need to go out there close because everyone is not going to reciprocate that same love that you give. I just want transparency. I just want to know what happened.
Okay, check this out. Now I see how Nolan was able to put himself in that predicament, bro. What the fuck do you mean you taught him not to see no fucking color, nigga? What the fuck? Have you looked in the mirror?
Anyway, let's move on to the next one.
So I'm a little late on this because I've been listening to everyone's perspective on Nolan Wells. And honestly, I didn't think I had anything different to add to the conversation. But there's one thing that I believe is always important. I want you to...
Hold on.
All right, guys, we need to lock in because there is a missing soldier from Fort Bragg, and he's been missing for almost 2 weeks. So this is 25-year-old Savion Anderson, and his family in Charlottesville, Virginia, have been begging and pleading for answers about his whereabouts. Now, according to Savion's mom, she says that she last spoke to her son around June 27th, and then 2 days later on the 29th, his Army command had reached out to her and said that he had not shown up for formation. So the family immediately took action. They went to his apartment in Fayetteville to see what was going on. So they get there, they request a welfare check, and then police go inside of the apartment and realize that no one is there. Now, for a little bit of context on Savion, he graduated from high school in Charlottesville, Virginia back in 2019. He got married in December of 2025, and he is currently expecting a baby girl with his wife, who is due in August. This family, they are begging and pleading for answers to see where Savion is, and I just hope and pray that he is safe.
Another Fort Bragg soldier, another missing brother on July 4th. So I just thought I would bring some awareness to that situation, because there was some type of dog whistle on July 4th. It definitely was.
Ooh, some things going on in that Republican Party.
Yep. Oh, this is back to old boy Lindsey Graham. Let's watch this real quick. Lindsey Graham, because in case you're just joining, yeah, Lindsey Graham got taken out, and MAGA's completely divided. Or they say Lindsey just died of some mysterious illness, heart attack, whatever. But let's go.
That Republican regime, that MAGAnism, people in hospitals, people's checking up out of here. Lord, whatever you doing, keep right on doing it. My God, today, woo, it is Sunday. I feel them. I feel them moving. Y'all feel them moving, children? Y'all don't feel God moving? He's doing something on our behalf. My God, today. Woo, some things going on in there.
Man, I'm glad some of our people know what the hell time it is. Yep. Hold on, what happened there? I didn't mean to do that. Okay, hold on real quick. Just trying to click on the video. I don't know how it did that, but I'm glad some people know what's going on. Hold up. My bad, y'all. And let's get the likes up. Yeah, the Most High moving, man. Like, you know, these people been oppressing us for a long time now. Most High is working.
Before Nolan Wells' autopsy was complete, the sheriff made a statement. No foul play was suspected. Now, the family refused to accept that, and what they started uncovering, nobody was ready for. This is part 2. Here's what we know. No fluff, just facts. Now let's get to the facts. Nolan Wells' mother retrieved Nolan's phone, brought back by his friends, and without Nolan himself. Now, his mother started asking questions. She tracked the phone via the app, Life360. The location showed on land. A family friend helped retrieve it. His father, Elmore, went to get the keys, and when the family opened the phone, messages had been already deleted. That's when they hired attorney Ben Crump. Reverend Al Sharpton joined the case. Colin Kaepernick helped pay for the independent autopsy. Now, Tyler Perry pledged to cover the funeral expenses. Nolan's body was flown to Washington, D.C. A doctor with no ties to Mississippi ran the exam. Results were expected Friday. Crump said flight delays pushed them back. Meanwhile, another name surfaced. Chancery Judge Ashley Cole, her son Warren, was on the boat. Warren also called the U.S. Coast Guard. The judge posted a public statement. The boat allegedly took on water. The bilge pump had an issue. Nolan allegedly chose to stay behind. That is their side, but Ben Crump flagged a contradiction. A girl on the beach allegedly said Nolan told her he was going back with the boys. The boys said the opposite. And Crump described an alleged video Nolan and someone else yelling at each other on the boat. Now, the sheriff's office is now asking the public for photos and videos of alleged altercations. Part 3, I break down the independent autopsy results and where this case stands right now for the crew. Follow for more. Now I shine the spotlight on you, the viewers watching this moment play out in real time. Here's the question I bring forth to the table for open discussion. What are your thoughts about what's happening with the Nolan Wells case?
It's clear it's a cover-up, you know, and I can't stand when law enforcement be acting like they can't see what the hell going on social media. I don't understand it. They talking about anybody got the evidence, bring it forward. It's all over the internet. We can hear Nolan on that beach saying, "Give me my effing phone back." That's enough evidence for a judge to sign off on a warrant alone. That's enough to bring a great deal of suspicion in this situation. I'm gonna tell you, one of the worst mistakes that these Klansmen made, or these suspected Klansmen, is, listen, that body being found, them not completely getting rid of the body is what's going to catch them. That, and also we're going to have some cyber forensics. It's going to boil down to those two things: cyber forensics, as well as that body. Because, you know, it got flight delays, postponed it. When Monday hit, oh, we're going to hear some stuff, y'all. Oh, we're going to hear some stuff Monday about what happened to Nolan. That body is out there in D.C. I wouldn't be surprised if Nolan is unrecognizable. And if that's the case, guess what? The lady who ushered the first autopsy needs to go to prison. The police who claim they found the body on that island, they need to go to prison. Nolan's family would be considered co-conspirators. They need to go to prison. Everybody spotted in that photo need to go to prison. Bro, tomorrow we're going to hear something. Oh, tomorrow's going to be a crazy news day. And I'm hoping justice is served tomorrow, for real.
So the father gets to the crib. Jack starts telling the father, Nolan was like a brother to me. The father said, that's cool. Where is Nolan Keys at? Right? We're trying to figure out what's going on with Nolan. Jack starts stumbling, starts stalling, starts delaying, starts lying, making up excuses. This entire Key situation really makes your eyebrow raise.
And then we met up where his car was, which was at a separate location. There were issues obtaining the key. But even so, there's just a lot of...
Tell them about what happened with the key.
So I'm going to let my husband tell you about that, because he actually went up to the door to get the key, because at that point, I was just not in my right mind. This has just been an awful situation. Just terrible.
Elmore Walmsley, father.
Okay, so the situation with the key. When we got to the house, a few of his friends, they were already there, and they were at the door in the house asking questions. So when I walked up, they were getting, things were getting kind of intense. So I turned to them and told them, I need you guys to calm down. I don't do this to me right now. I need them to kind of trust me so they can give me something. So I was able to calm them down. So the guy, he's in one of the pictures. He came out of the room, half asleep or whatever, I think Jack's or whatever. And I said, look, I'm Nolan's father. I'm here to get his keys so I can get his car. I said, he's like, his car's parked in the yard. So he was like, I don't know, man. I know it's like my brother. I said, well, if Nolan was like your brother, would you please go in your room and see if we can find my son's keys so I can take his car home? He walks off. 2 or 3 minutes, come back. I can't find the keys. I said, okay. So at that point, I get the boys and I get to move them out the house, because I didn't want them to go into the house and start tearing up these people's houses, because they'll never be a hold in the situation. So we walk outside by the car. One of the guys that was in the house with us, he was on the phone with a girl, and the girl told him that Nolan's keys were on top of this Jack's guy's Xbox in the house, because apparently she was there with him earlier. So he goes back up to the door by himself, and 5 minutes later, the keys come out. So now I feel like you lied to me. So now I'm really in distrust with you.
So the father gets to the crib. Jack starts telling the father, Nolan was like a brother to me. The father said, that's cool. Where is Nolan Keys at? Right? We're trying to figure out what's going on with Nolan. Jack starts stumbling, starts stalling, starts delaying, starts lying, making up excuses. This entire Key situation really makes your eyebrow raise.
And then we met up where his car was, which was at a separate location. There were issues obtaining the key. But even so, there's just a lot of...
Tell them about what happened.
Yeah, that is crazy. And imagine this. Nolan was not even pronounced deceased yet. And he's like, look, Nolan was like brother to me. That's guilt, man. He was panicking. I don't have the keys. Nolan was like a brother to me, guilt. He had them keys, and they end up getting the keys. I'm telling you, man, justice gotta be served. It gotta be served.
Let me tell you something. You blacks of a particular age, especially in the South, Christians who are posting, talking about, oh, y'all shouldn't be talking bad about. Lindsey Graham was a horrible person. He wanted to destroy you as a black person, as a minority. He wanted you out of here, baby. He wanted you to take his place. Okay? Why do y'all honor people who live to destroy you? That's dumb. That's slave mentality. He's not your master. We're not on the field. You can say whatever the hell you want to say about him. He was a horrible person. He hated blacks. He hated minorities. And he hated himself because he hated the LGBTQIA community.
He must be a part of that community. I don't agree with that. You know, you got to watch out for these Democrats. They're always trying to put their damn sexuality in something. We don't care about what you got going on in your damn bedroom. The fact of the matter is he's right about the fact that our people, they have the tendency to be mourning people just because they died. Like, who cares? Lindsey Graham was not a good person. He didn't have no love for us. We're not mourning Lindsey Graham. May he rest in peace. We don't care about that. You gotta watch out for them damn Democrats, man. See, a lot of these MAGA folks thinking I'm on Democrat or Republican. I don't like none of y'all. I'm about what's true. I don't rock with none of y'all. I don't rock with Democrats. I don't rock with Republicans. Just so that I'm clear. Now, I want y'all to hear this judge right here.
I'm Judge Carlos Moore. I'm a retired municipal judge of Mississippi. I served for 6.5 years on the bench. I can talk now that I am a retired judge. It's time out for playing games. It's time to know the truth from someone well-versed in it. Sometimes we look at the largest case, we try to get to murder, but the person that took his phone committed a crime right there. There are witnesses to who took that phone. If an affidavit is signed, an arrest warrant could be signed by a judge in Mississippi to go after that person that had that phone unlawfully. We know, based on his own words, Nolan Wells' words while he was alive, he did not give whoever had that phone permission to have that phone. So was that theft?
Yeah.
I think if an affidavit is signed, if it was presented to me when I was a judge, I would have signed an arrest warrant for the person for theft. Is there enough right now for arrest warrants for murder? That is a good question.
Yeah.
I do know at this point there should have been search warrants signed by a judge. Evidence should have been presented to a judge by now. We are nearly 7 days after July the 4th, when he was first reported missing. There should have been evidence submitted by Jackson County law enforcement agents, the sheriff's department specifically, presented to a judge so that search warrants could be signed. And there needs to be, or should have been, someone questioning the young men, the three so-called friends, and others, and their social media accounts need to be searched by now, or at least a search warrant should have been issued for the appropriate entities to give the law enforcement access to the social media information. That should have been done by now. And based on what's revealed from a thorough investigation, I do believe once the evidence is secured, it's going to lead, and it should lead, to the arrest of one or more individuals for the murder of Nolan Wells. I'm Judge Carlos Moore. I'm a retired municipal judge of Mississippi.
I mean, he's absolutely right. There's been no search warrants. There's been no type of due diligence, no real investigative work. And here we have a situation where now Ben Crump is involved. Now Al Sharpton is involved. I believe by tomorrow, y'all, we're gonna get some type of answers. And if there's not no arrest issued, once everything come out, I'm gonna be surprised if Mississippi don't really be burning. Real talk. So look, this is the news for the day. We got Lindsey Graham. He just mysteriously dropped dead. Give a brief rundown. I privy you all to what's going on in the country, the great split with MAGA, America First. I feel like I covered all my bases here. I think I had one more source here that I did want to share with y'all. I think I seen something come through the news desk. So let me check this out real quick. Oh yeah. I want to share something with y'all in regarding to Lindsey Graham that may add a little bit more context to why they might have tried to take him out. So allow me to share that. I know I was forgetting something, but I want to share that with y'all.
Coming months, if we do this right, increase Ukraine's lethality, get people to help us with Putin rather than propping him up, we can end this war. So when I get back to Washington, I'm going to go with Senator Blumenthal to the Republican and Democratic leader to see if we can find time to move this Russian sanctions package that would give tools to President Trump to help end this war. I've never been more optimistic than I am today that we have the formula to end this war. Let those supporting Russia to know it's going to be a price to be paid if you keep doing it, and to try to find an off-ramp, not to humiliate Putin, but to end this war so that Ukraine will thrive and survive. In the coming months, if we...
Yeah, that's what got him taken out. Trump ain't... Listen, you talking like you Trump's handler. You sounded too sure. Yeah, you know, we're going to end this war. You know, I'm going to sit down with Trump. I'm very optimistic. No, not even a day later, finito, out of there. You know, y'all got to understand, Trump do not rock with Vladimir. I'm not Vladimir, but Zelensky. Yeah, Vladimir Zelensky, the Ukrainian president. Trump don't rock with him at all. Like, he disrespects him all the time. You know, when Zelensky come down here to America, he be wearing sweat clothes and stuff, wearing sweatsuits and stuff. They don't rock with each other. So Trump is not letting up off Ukraine. Now, Trump is aligned with Russia. So it looked like Lindsey Graham overstepped his boundaries, and he gone the next day. Yeah, they pretty much wiped his nose. They got rid of him. Yeah, he's like, look, you don't embarrass us like that. The war end if we say it end. We don't stop wars until we take all the resources and turn lands into ash heaps. Yeah, they got him out there. And the next thing you know, not even 24 hours later, he just dropped dead. Nah, but I'm not buying it. Somebody said, Breed, Trump only hates Zelensky because Zelensky is poor. Yeah, I don't know. I know it's some tension there. But anyway, look, this is my theory on it. This is my opinion on what happened to Lindsey Graham. I'm not mourning him. I don't care. But I do think that his death does show you how gangster these people be moving. They the mafia. They are the mob. They the real thugs and gangsters and killers. And that's just what it is. And just like they popped Charlie Kirk when he jumped out of line. That was MAGA that popped Charlie Kirk. It wasn't us. It wasn't no Democrats. And I'm not saying we Democrats, but I'm saying it wasn't us, meaning black people or melanated people, or it wasn't Democrats. It was MAGA. He was talking too much about Israel. He was talking too much about wars and not wanting to go to war. That's a red line right there. Because if you remember, Charlie Kirk spoke against Iranian war. He said, look, it looked like a war coming. Please don't do it. If Trump get elected, that's the worst thing he can do. Whoop-de-whoop. You got to understand that Charlie Kirk was a component of America First. Same thing with Lindsey Graham. So you got MAGA cleaning house. You got MAGA purging. Anybody who go against the dictatorship of Trump, they getting wiped out. Trump a gangster. Let's just call it what it is. Trump is a gangster, y'all. He's not a president. This man is a gangster. If you're not with their white supremacy structure, you speaking against what he got going on, they're going to take you out. MAGA took that man out. And then they made it look like a heart attack, a mystery illness. Like Cat Williams said, a mystery illness. He died of a mystery illness. Yep. But it is what it is, y'all. I'm about to get something to eat. I'm hungry. I got to eat. And I want to thank y'all for coming through. Of course, I got more material coming. Y'all make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe if you ain't subscribed. More material coming. Y'all stay blessed. Support the work at newbreedglobaltruth.com. Support me via Cash App, New Breed Global Truth. Always an honor and blessing building with y'all. Y'all stay safe out there. Peace.